Welcome to our workshop and garage. I don't usually do this type of videos. I never put my face on a video, but I decided it's probably better to explain who we are, what we do, what's our story, and where we want to go in a video like this and on a platform different to Instagram, because it's very difficult to explain all of this with pictures. We are privately owned workshop and collection, privately owned by father and son, me being the junior. He's more into 50s and 60s, and I'm more into 80s and 90s, especially BMWs. This whole enterprise and all of it started purely non-commercially. We didn't want to do restoration business. What we wanted and what we needed was, we were quite desperate for it. I'm talking in between 2015 to 2020, we were quite desperate with the fact that we have no base for our operation, and we actually were dependent on the various different vendors in the region. And as you know from your experience, it's incredibly frustrating to get your car serviced at different places with different vendors, and we were in a never ending onslaught of stress, overspending, and low quality. That was the problem that we were facing. So we were looking for more stable and organized solution, and we came up with the idea to purchase this building, and we arranged the inner side of the building as we would if this was our workshop. So we have two main lifts, one secondary lift, and later we added 8 storage lifts so that we can store, clean, maintain, and restore our cars here. We done that in 2020 when we didn't really have any full-time employees as such, but there was already 2 or 3 people around us that were willing to start working on our cars regularly here. So we kind of sucked in our individual vendors into these projects, and they became the core of our team that works full-time on our cars. So originally the idea was that this whole operation is here to work on our cars so that we are not dependent on various different car restoration companies in the region. So we have managed that, I think, beautifully. First 3 or 4 years we have done just that, and it looked like it would stay like this for some time. But maybe you remember from my Instagram, 2023 was a bit of a breakthrough for us, because at the time I had quite ambitious idea. I really wanted to purchase a real estate property that I couldn't really afford. It's a big project that never happened, but at the time I needed to sell quite a lot of cars from our collection and from my collection. And you remember 2023 as a time when, in the summer especially, I published a list of cars for sale. And I was overwhelmed actually back then by the reactions of people, positive reactions, that I actually put it together, presented it, and I put real prices there. A lot of cars actually sold in 2023 in summer and autumn following this, and that made me realize, since those were mostly cars that we have worked on, and I was surprised also by the prices, that we made some profit on these cars, and also by the number of the cars, and also by the reactions of the people that were buying these cars, because they told us we are doing something quite special here. When they came to the base here, when they seen all of the work in, I've seen a couple of people saying like this really isn't your typical commercial operations here. This is really an enthusiast overkill here with all the gadgets that we have, including some nostalgia, like old BMW factory diagnostic boxes, or shall I say diagnostic walls. So that got me positively motivated, and I realized that actually we've been stocking too many projects. We probably have around 50 to 60 cars, items of cars, if you like. We probably have 12 or 15 or maybe even 20 spare engines, gearboxes, interior seats. So we are quite well stocked for a couple of years to restore cars and to potentially some of them sell them. But I realized that maybe there should be some sort of sales department or sales stream just to get some money back and just to get the project going on. And that has actually happened. Last year, I have sold or helped to sell either 17 or 18 cars in total. And I started also offering through my social media cars for sale of other people on a commission basis. And that has evolved into what you see now on my Instagram called Bazaar. It's a closed chat group where you can enter easily. It's much smaller than the account following, but it's more focused group with people that are really interested in buying and selling as well. So there is a lot of dynamic in behind. So that's where we are at the moment. As you can see, we refrain from doing your typical maintenance service type of work for general public. There are a couple of reasons for that, why we are hesitant. First and foremost, there are many workshops that do that, and they do good job, they do bad job as well. The reason why we don't want to do it is that we don't make living out of this. This is not our primary business, and this is not the primary goal to make living out of this operation. The goal is to be net zero. I make living out of my other business. My father is a CEO of energy company, and we make living out of that, and that we are not run as a garage that services cars for general public. Most of our guys are happy for this environment where we are not that much pushed by deadlines, by customers, by efficiency, by reporting, by quotas, what have you, in commercial operations. We are more relaxed and we are more focused on the cars. And also, because of our collection, it's working on cars like these, like Alpina B12, M3, E36, E3, very special project. Over there is B12 5.7. Just in this room, we've got 6 interesting cars that you wouldn't normally work if you work for general public, at least not here, at least not commonly. So where we are at the moment is that we are much rather focused on restoring the car on our cost, buying the car which is basis for the restoration, like this one, and then presenting to the public the finished product. The risk of that business is, of course, that it may not sell. It's much easier to be a typical restoration business where customer comes in with his car and we just invoice him. But I try to explain why we refrain from that. This is much more difficult. It's a little bit more like a wheeler dealers type of business. But the upside and the reason why we can do this business is that the worst case scenario, we're gonna keep these cars, right? Because we still run our collection. And I realized that it's much better for us if we, let's say, 80 to 20 own and sell cars. And it's fine. If this doesn't sell, it's fine. If this doesn't sell, it's fine. Something else will, and I'll be happily driving this to work, as anyone would. So that's the reason behind it, and that's where we are at the moment. Mostly focus on restoring our cars in our collection, building a unique collection, but at the same time we try to be visible with few interesting cars for sale, and if they sell, it's good for our operations. We can move forward, we can buy new projects, we can expand. And we are slowly doing that. What we are most known for, or my profile, or maybe me as a collector, is E32 platform. Also, other cars from that generation that you can see here, but E32 in terms of numbers is what we do most, and especially the V12 variant. So at the moment we probably have up to 20 E32s in our history and in our collection. I have actually sold possibly 7, maybe more E32s in last couple of years, since 2023. So we've got clients with their own E32s coming back to us, and our clients also sold their cars and bought new ones. So it's what we know the most, and we are so focused on E32s that actually we started producing some of the parts that are not available. For example, since these cars were made from 86 to 94, it is now a time when some rubber and plastic components degrade and leak. And one of the most serious problems of these cars, especially the V12 engines, is not the engine itself, but its surrounding things, such as the brake booster. The brake booster cannot be bought new. It leaks. Not the brake booster itself, but plastic part inside of it. We call it the reduction. So we produce that from aluminium, and it's on eBay, and we've sold a couple, I think, more than 10. It's not a big business, obviously, but we have 3D scanned, produced, manufactured, and now selling and offering these things to public as well. And given how many E32s we had and we have, we actually use it quite a lot on our cars. Well, this is a small part of the story, also a small part, but it makes braking on these cars with stock brakes possible. You don't have many other options other than to go to a scrapyard or to a donor car and try a different brake booster and hope for the best that it doesn't break. But we are at a time when these things happen, and I had the problem with the leaking brake fluid, and I got my brake stuck at one point with my 750, and it's a serious thing if you can't buy a new part from BMW and there is no one else refurbishing it. I remember M539 restorations. Sreten has actually bought similar products from someone from US I talked to, and he stopped making them, so we decided to do this ourselves. Another thing that we produce ourselves, it's prototype ready, is the body kit for E32. So we are moving a little bit to, I don't want to say a tuning company because we are not tuners, but we have some optical upgrades for E32 as well. And that is the front lip, the rear diffuser, if you like, optical only, and side skirts that we produce for E32 long and short wheelbase. Have shown some prototype or some part fitting in past. It's inspired by stock look of M packet or M Technic packet from E34 M5. And we ask ourselves a question of how would 7 Series E32 look if BMW has produced M7 or M packet for this car, because they haven't. That's a shame, because I think the car would look really good, and we try to do exactly that. And you will be able to buy that in future, but first we want to showcase it on our cars. And these are just, I'm talking about these two things like it's a big deal. It's not, I know, but these little things move us forward. Another thing that moves us forward is manual transmission. And that manual transmission gets us to 750 E32, car that has never been offered by BMW with manual gearbox, although the same engine was offered with manual gearbox in 8 Series, which is in no means and in no universe a sportier car than this, because it drives very similar to E32 and it has the same engine. So naturally one thinks, why haven't they done that? Also for the 740 V8, that engine was offered as manual not only in E34 but also in less sporty and heavier and more comfy oriented E38, and not only 4 liter but also 4.4, and also in E39. So why the hell did BMW not offer manual gearbox for V12 and V8 engines when they did that in different cars that were basically technologically very similar to this? So unfortunately, the V12 in E32 is a 4-speed ZF gearbox that takes a lot of performance from the car. On a highway, you're driving either in third or fourth, and sometimes you want to kick down, and sometimes it doesn't happen because the gearbox ECU tells you no downshift possible. It would be much better with 6-speed, and I know a couple of people who did conversion to 6-speed, and that's something we are doing at the moment. So this is the third thing that I wanted to explain about where we are in terms of producing something of our own. The next thing that we're gonna do is custom gearbox holders and all the measurements for all the other components for manual transmission swap for E32 750. This is gonna be the first car that we're gonna do it. It's actually my ex car. This is first E32 I ever sold, and I sold it to now a good friend and customer who wants to upgrade his car, also legally in papers, and he's driving a lot around Europe in this car. This car has driven since 2023. I think he has done more than 40,000 kilometers on the car, which is more than me in probably all my E32s combined, which makes me jealous. But he's been with this car in Paris, in Brussels, in Rome. He traveled around the whole Europe in this car. He has photos on his Instagram too. So he's properly using the car, and that's why he knows the best the limitations of the automatic gearbox on the highway. I still think this generation of 7 Series was the best in terms, just in terms of driver engagement. In terms of comfort, every single generation that followed was far better. I agree with that, and I own E66 760, so I know how much more civilized, quiet, and comfortable that generation is. But to enjoy driving 7 Series, first 2 generations, E23 and E32, are the most closest to your typical classic car experience in terms of hearing the engine, feeling the engine, feeling the gearbox, smelling the car, and also going through the turns. I'm sorry, I can't see how any other new generations were more engaging in this respect. They were more powerful, they were better performing, more technologically advanced, and more comfortable. So the development continued. But this is where I love BMW the most, and this is the 7 Series that, through the steering wheel and through the driver inputs and feedback, in my opinion, gives you the most. And that's why I want to give it 6-speed manual gearbox and see how it is then. So this is going to be the first type of project like this. Then we're going to have another one, E32, one of mine. It's going to be actually Alpina B12, where we're going to do the manual swap as well. I think it's going to be the first Alpina B12 E32 with manual gearbox on the planet, because I can't find another one. So I'm really fascinated by this project, but also for the Alpina one, that we will produce 2 different sets of gearbox holders that will be measured, tried, and tested for future products that will move us closer to these type of builds. But ultimately, it will move us closer to to something else that I want to speak about, and that's the part where I start to speak about what's the ultimate goal, why are we doing this, why are we swapping gearbox in this customer's car. If I just said that we don't do customer service generally, we just do our cars. Well, this is exception, and it's an exception for very good reason. Let me explain what that exception is, and let me continue to talk about E32s when I stand next to E31 Alpina 5.7 V12. So we want to move with these three steps that I just described: our own brake booster, our body kit for E32, our own gearbox holders for manual swaps on V12 E32s. These small steps get us closer to the ultimate E32 specialists, if you like. I already believe that we are specialists on E32, not me personally, because I don't work on these cars, but our team. But it will get us closer to where we can honestly say that we're gonna now build an ultimate E32. That right there is the reason why we do that, because I really think that E32 deserves much more credit than it's getting. You can see that from my profile. But I also know that E32 750 has few limitations from the factory that were well meant and that were still making the car well ahead of its time back in late 80s. But technical possibilities have progressed, and I think there is a good gap in the whole BMW lineup. In the 80s and 90s BMWs, you have M3s, you have M5s, you don't have M7s. Why? Why we don't have M7s? You can ask the same for 8 Series, because yes, you have 850 CSI, it's a half M car, we know, but it's very good performance GT, and it had actually received some of the tweaks you can see here from Alpina, the 5.7. 8 Series got something at least, but the 7 Series, the only thing it got was B12 5-liter Alpina, which is superb car, and I have one here, and I own 3, and I love them, but still not the ultimate E32. Maybe in terms of what you can get from 5 liters without turbos and without compressors, maybe you can get few horsepowers more. With the 2-valve technology is quite limited, but overall I think a stock 750 IL can be helped a lot with the gearbox, with a little bit of styling, and with the customization. That is the next step. So where I want to get next, and this will sound crazy, but I will record that on the video in case it ever happens, so we can come back to this point and I can say I told you so. You know Singer, you know these companies that take old car, reimagine what it could do now, and they reproduce it with some of the newest know-how in industry, and they produce old car looking car with the new car type of performance and advantages without any of the drawbacks of the new cars that are obvious. So I want to do the same with E32 platform. That's where all of this is heading. That's why I don't mind at some point selling this car, selling any car you can see here, if I can get closer to that ultimate E32 with screaming V12, manual gearbox, customized interior, with some gadgets inside, with some little bit more aggressive styling from the outside, like it was an M7. M7 never happened, so that's my dream, and that's what I want to build. That's what actually Muncik Classics is all about. Maybe even some of the guys working here don't fully believe in what I believe, and they don't fully see that picture, that big picture, but I decided that I will start talking about it, and I will start doing content about it, because I really want to make it happen. I've traveled this summer quite a lot. I've been to Villa d'Este, thanks to BMW Slovakia who invited me. I've been to Goodwood. I've been to a couple of other nice events, and I've seen these companies that take the old and make it brand new. I'm not talking about restoration businesses. We are already there. We can restore a car like this, no problem at all. But that only gets you where the car was from the factory, and that's not the ultimate version of that car. I've seen these companies, what they do with their customers, and what the customers actually appreciate on companies like this, the customization, the limitless possibilities to do something special and unique, the rarity of it, the beauty of it, most of all, the beauty of it. I've seen how Singer makes these beautiful products. It's impossible for us to get there from Slovakia, where they are. I fully appreciate that, but we want to do our best because we really do know E32s really well. We have the resources, and now it's a question of time, prevalence, sturdiness, and leadership if we get there. So bear with me. I'm Jakub from Muncik Classics. Bear with me. We are building the ultimate E32. That's our underlying slogan. Although we restore cars like this and we offer cars like this for sale, the ultimate dream where we want to move in the next stage is building the ultimate E32. I think the closest we will get there in the next couple of months, let's say, is my green Alpina B12. I've got some special plans for it. Haven't published them yet. Obviously, I don't want to put our body kit on Alpina because Alpina is Alpina, but I will put manual gearbox in it. Not me personally, but our guys. That's settled, and we have everything for it. I will put new interior in it, probably. And I want to put something special inside that will make the car different. I don't want to change the color. I don't want to change the Alpina appearance. It will be Alpina B12. But it will be a manual Alpina B12 E32, and that will get us relatively close to what's going to be the next build. And I'm not going to build the ultimate E32 out of Alpina. That would be preposterous. I will take another car. I'm not yet decided which car it will be, and I will make the ultimate E32 out of it. I was trying to end the video before, so my name is Jakub. You may know me as Munchik. This was my first type of longer YouTube video explaining what we do and where we want to get. I hope you will enjoy what we do, and I hope you will enjoy the following videos, because the first one is always rubbish, but it's a necessary step that I need to take, and I hope one day this video will be funny when I come back to it. So thanks for watching.